Good evening and welcome to our class of 2024 families and also to the families of our incoming transfer students. It's so nice to see everybody and we thank you for taking the time to be here with us this evening. We're very much looking forward to your children joining us this fall, and we thank you so much for choosing St. Vincent St. Mary High School. We are thrilled to be welcoming 170 incoming freshmen and 9 transfer students this fall. So we are excited to get to know all of you better and for you to know each other as well. Tonight there will be a lot of information that you are presented with. Please know that our attempt is not to overwhelm you at tonight's presentation, but we are just trying to provide you with as much information as possible so that you can plan accordingly in the weeks ahead as our school year is quickly approaching. We kindly ask that you do silence your cell phones for this evening's presentation so there aren't any distractions, so I'll give you a moment to check on that, please. And let us now prepare for our evening's prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this orientation meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of community. Fill us with your grace as we make decisions that might affect the students, staff, and faculty of St. Vincent St. Mary High School. Continue to remind us that all that we do here today, all that we accomplish, is for the pursuit of truth, for the greater glory of you, and for the service of humanity. We ask these things in your name. Amen. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. A few housekeeping items as we get started. We do ask that you please keep your mask on for the duration of the evening, unless you are actively eating or drinking. And with that said, if you would like to help yourself to any refreshments, we do have bottled water and snacks available at each end of the room, so please help yourself throughout the evening. But again, keep those masks on as you are walking to the refreshment tables. Also, if you did not receive your envelope with your child's name on it, please make sure that you find your way to the tables at each side of the room. A through L is located on this side, and M through Z is located over here to your right. So please, if you did not already pick that envelope up, please do so, as we will be referring to it throughout the evening. As I bring up that envelope, there is one typo that I just want to bring to your attention now so that you're not confused when the speaker gets to this paper. In your envelope, also while you're in there, there are name tags in your envelope. We made one for the child and for both parents, so please feel free to put those name tags on. I know we're not mingling much, but it is nice if we do get to see each other face on, if we know who each other is. So please feel free to put those name tags on. And then also, if you will find a stapled packet, it's white paper, stapled packet. And if you don't have a pen, you just keep this in mind. This packet is in regards to Chromebook insurance, which is going to be discussed later on this evening. But again, I just wanted to correct it before you get confused when the speaker comes on about it. There's a bold date of August 3rd on that packet, and that should say August 21st. Sorry, it's a packet, stapled packet of white paper right on that first page of that packet. It says August 3rd in bold. That should say August 21st. So I apologize about that. And we will come back to that packet later on in the evening. So just kind of keep a hold of that for now. If needed, the restrooms are located right outside of this room, so you would exit these doors and make a slight right, and the restrooms are right in that shorter hallway as you exit this area. And then keep in mind, we will have time at the end for questions. So if you have questions, it might be a good idea to write them down, and then at the end of the presentation, we'll go over any group questions that remain. At this time, I would like to introduce our St. Vincent St. Mary administration, who is here with you this evening to present. So I'm going to just list who they are, and then we'll call up our first speaker. So tonight we have our president, Mr. Tom Perrone, our principal, Mrs. Kim Gore, who is also here as a parent this evening, as her son Aaron is joining us as a freshman. I wasn't sure she would embarrass him, so I had to do so. Our Dean of Academics, Mrs. Kelly Witters. Our Dean of Students, Mr. Tom McCrill. Our campus minister, Mrs. Christine Spare. Our Assistant Director of Admissions, Ms. Deb Phillip, is assisting the family. And also, Ms. Kelly Gupta of our Technology and Library Media Specialist is here. She is recording the evening for, we will send the recording of tonight's presentation to all families, even if you're here tonight, so that you can see a recap of what was discussed. So now please join me in welcoming our first presenter, President Tom Perrone.
I'd like to stand there a minute. Well, welcome home. Welcome to the family. I say this every year, and believe me, you will believe me in 4 years. The next 4 years is going to take 10 minutes. And when you're seniors, you're going to say, wow, Mr. Perrone is right. Can't believe those 4 years are gone. So it works in life, too. I feel like yesterday I was 21. I'm not 21 anymore. Before I get started on a few things, there's something I just have to do. We've been blessed with Amy Barcelo. And Amy has decided to be a stay-at-home mom, which is phenomenal. So Amy, come back up here, I'm embarrassed you. Where are you? Amy, did you leave? Did you not do this? See, this is not a freshman orientation, this is a bride party. Amy, thank you. I mean, I've known Amy since she was 50. My daughter Heather was in her class, and if you ask Amy, she had the best bowling coach in the United States. And it was a lot of fun. So Amy, thank you. We're going to miss you. Oh, wait, I'm going to bring Courtney Connolly up here now. I'm embarrassed her for a minute. Courtney used to be employed at St. Vincent Seminary. And then we told her to leave. I'm just kidding. And then Courtney left a year ago. And it's true in a sense, when you leave St. V, you never leave St. Vincent Seminary. So she applied for Amy's job, and there was a deep, we had so many applications, it was amazing. The committee did a great job. And the final solution is what we all hoped for. Courtney's back with us now as our Director of Admissions. So welcome back. So again, students, you're going to hear this more than once. But the first day of school is just as important as the day you graduate. And why do I say that? See, if we let your GPA slide, it's really hard to get it back where it belongs. So pay attention from day one. Your family's paying a lot of money for you to go to St. Vincent St. Mary. And by the way, you'll hear me say this morning, you want to hear it. It's okay to give them a hug every day. Just say thank you. Because I assure you, they gave something up so you could attend St. Vincent St. Mary. And you won't realize how important it is to later in your life. I'm not belittling other schools. I'm not belittling public systems. But St. Vincent St. Mary will make a difference in your life if you put the effort in. Now, moving on. As Amy alluded to, there's many administrators that we didn't have attend tonight because of the whole social distancing that I know we're all really tired of. But we have to continue to do it to stay safe. A few things I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to be very brief because the people who speak after me, they're more important. So, what's going on in St. Vincent St. Mary in the last several months? If you haven't been on campus lately, when you come on campus, you go around the corner into the LRC and the new makerspace and some other things we've done, your mouth's been opening and you go, oh, it's amazing. And I promise, I think Mrs. Gore, our principal, has some things to surprise you with when she's speaking, but it's amazing. And if anyone in this room participated in the Jim Burton 5K races, thank you, because those proceeds help with this project. as did, always forget his name. Played basketball for the Cavs. Oh, LeBron. And what LeBron's foundation continues to do for us every day, or every year, I'm sorry, somewhat every day, is pretty amazing. He doesn't have to do those things, but he's never forgotten where he came from. You hear me say that all the time. Let's talk about school opening, and believe me, I'm gonna give you brief comments. Again, Mrs. Gore, Mr. McCrill, Mrs. Withers, they'll go over something. I get questions all the time, are you really gonna open? As I stand here tonight, yes, we are planning to really open. Governor Wine sees it a different way in a few weeks, we'll deal with that. But we're ready. We're ready, because Mrs. Gore and her staff have done an amazing job. And if we have to flip a switch overnight and go online, you'll see what I mean. It's gonna be flawless, right, Kim? So we'll deal with it as it comes, okay? We will continue to communicate to you what's going on. I hope most of you have been getting all the communications that come out from Mrs. Gore and the administration. It might seem overkill at times, but I'm a firm believer in communication needs to be done. People need to know what's going on. We need to give you as much information as we can. And if there's something out there that you have a question on that you haven't seen, call us. We will return your call. That I promise you. Moving on. Where's my slide out there? Oh, there we go. Mr. Willie McGee is not with us tonight. Again, he wanted to be, and we told him no. Just kidding. We want to reduce how many people are here tonight. I don't know how many of you know Mr. McGee. He's long. He's one of the Fab Five, and he does an amazing job for us. His passion for St. Vincent St. Mary, unbelievable. But you know what? Everyone that works in our building, that's why we're there. We're there because we love what we do, and we love what St. Vincent St. Mary represents. As far as things that need to be done, physical pre-evaluation form required for all student athletes, they expire after 1 year. So these are things I'm covering for them. Again, something new this year, students can earn physical education credit by participating in the school-sponsored scholastic athletics, marching band, cheerleading, or at least 2 athletic seasons during 9th grade, 9th to 11th. That is new. People have asked that question for a few years. We heard you, we listened, we took action. So again, that's Willie McGee. If you have any questions on athletics, feel free to give him a call. He's at the school. And Ms. Carly Whitney is his assistant, the assistant athletic director. Michelle Schaefer is the director of annual fund and event planner. No, I'm not here tonight already asking you for money. I won't do that till next week. The annual fund is really, it's unrestricted dollars that help us bridge that gap. See, we don't charge what it really takes to run the operation, because it would be astronomical. So what happens through the advancement office, the annual fund, is what makes the difference. So again, Michelle Schaefer, you'll get letters from her, you may get a phone call. And if you can't make a donation at that time, that's okay, no one's going to go, oh my God. But I'll ask if you can. Some of the calls that some of the people say to her are ridiculous, and I always tell Michelle, I told her this 2 years ago, I said, look, no matter how mad someone gets, or upset that you're asking for money, as far as I know, okay, they can't reach through the phone and do anything to you. And that little level you have in your hand, you control it. So again, just mentioning it to you. Showcase. We certainly hope we can have Showcase this year. It's our biggest fundraising event of the year, and it's so much fun. I mean, I'm serious. I'm not saying that because I have to say it. It's fun. It starts at about 5:30, and I can't tell you what time people go home, because a few years ago we decided to bring a DJ in to make things a little funner, more fun at the end. And I've come to realize I keep keep paying the DJ more because they don't think wants to go home. It's a great event, we raise a lot of money to help the school, and we auction off some great items. So, again, it's scheduled for April 17th this year. Who knows where it's going? Last year we could not hold it. We put items online, and our community came through again. And we raised a lot of money, so anyone in the room that might have been on any of those items, thank you. Car raffle packet, and again, yes, students have to sell car raffle tickets. Bob and Kathy Serpentini, this I think would be the 21st or 22nd year they've given us a car. That's pretty nice. And we raffle off, and all the proceeds go, again, to help bridge that gap I keep talking about. So, buy your tickets, sell a lot of tickets. There'll actually be 3 prizes given out that night, and it's usually at the last home boys basketball game, usually. We'll see where that goes. Is that pretty much it for me? Am I off the hook now? Look at that, that was pretty quick. My staff will admit to you that Mr. Carone never speaks for 10 minutes, he speaks for an hour or 2. It's because of the passion, but I'm not gonna do that to you tonight, okay? Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing St. Vincent St. Mary. And students, welcome to the family. Thank you.
I also don't like standing there. Usually I don't even like using a microphone, but I'm thrilled to see such a crowd this evening. Thank you for coming out and spending the evening with us. I hope we can cover a lot of information that was not already covered in the video that we sent to you around mid-June. That is still available for your reference if you need to go back and look at anything, as well this video. All right, so hopefully you got the email communication last week that we did decide to push the first day of school back 1 week. We did that for a couple of different reasons. As you can imagine, a lot to prepare the building for in terms of getting ready to have students, and we will have students. So we're taking that week to put all of those safety steps into place, put a lot of different, just much like you saw coming in here tonight, the logos on the floor telling directions, arrows, all of that I hate to say it, but you're probably getting a little used to now in a lot of the places that you go. So we're outfitting the school in that capacity, and we're also going to be providing the teachers with some training on not only how to best sanitize their classroom and those common frequently touched areas, but also to give us some time to do some professional development. So it's going to be a great week that we have to get ready for the students on the 26th. The school calendar has been sent to you a number of different times. I think there's another one in your packet today. We don't need to touch on that. Like I said, the preparation of campus, a lot with those kind of decals. We're making sure that the floors are waxed and everything looks great, but also that those procedural things are put into place. What we are going to do in probably the first or second week of August is we are going to utilize some of our student leadership to make some instructional videos so that students, when you come on the first day, you're not wondering where to go and how to go. We're actually going to create videos for you so that you see exactly what those directions are, which stairwells are up, which stairwells are down, where your lockers might be. So we're going to try to give you that video clips so that when you come in, it's kind of second nature to you. Hopefully you saw our return to school plan yesterday. If you have not read it in its entirety yet, no worries, you have time. It was something that a vast team of us have spent about the last month putting together. It is going to be, so what was shared with you yesterday was yesterday's information. As you know, things are changing rapidly. So I'm not going to re-release that every time I make 1 or 2 adjustments. But if I find that we've tweaked a couple of things, I may just say, here's the latest version of that return to school plan. Please let me know if you have any questions on that. I did send that out to all of the teachers prior to sending it to families. I sent it to a number of our board members. and basically got some feedback from them before I released it to our community. But if you see something that we missed, by all means, please let me know and I will make those adjustments. So we're adding something new this year. Usually what happens is you come on the first day of school and you get to meet your big and little sibs, you get to know your schedule, and then within a day or two, sometime within that first week, you get your Chromebook and you learn how to use all of the technology that goes along with that. Well, we saw how quickly things changed this year basically in 24 hours, we had to transition to that online platform. So actually, a group of teachers came to me and said, well, what if we did some of those orientation things prior to the first day of school? Because I do know that some families have elected to start the year with distance learning, but they still are going to need the Chromebooks, they're still going to need all of that capability to be ready to go on day one. So we're going to offer 3 separate, basically, Chromebook digital platform orientation days on August 11th, 12th, and 13th. I have created a sign-up genius for those. Basically, you'll have a 90-minute block of time. Most of them, so the first 2 days, the 8th and 12th, are in the afternoon for a couple of hours, a couple of different slots, and then all day on the 13th. Our hope is that one parent could come with their child, because one of the things that we found last year when we did have to switch to online learning is there was that learning curve for parents as well. So we would really like to offer you kind of that support in the event that you have to help your child this year. So it's a 90-minute window. I will make that sign-up genius live either tomorrow or Friday. You can select a slot that works best for you. Again, we're going through all the safety measures that your children will experience. We will take those on those orientation days. But it's just an opportunity to kind of basically get a couple of days ahead than if we waited till the start of school. There is something in your packet that Mrs. Barcelo alluded to earlier about the Chromebook insurance. In years past, we have made that optional. Highly recommended, but optional. What we found, and I can let you read Mrs. Valley's letter in there, but basically what we found is when we did all have to go online learning, our level of Chromebooks that experienced catastrophes increased. So we are actually asking everybody to purchase that Chromebook insurance. Let me tell you what that money gets you. It's less than $30 for the entire year, and basically what we were able to do for our families is they would email our IT desk, and within 24 hours we got students a new Chromebook and device, whether it was a charger, whether it was an actual Chromebook. And you purchasing that Chromebook insurance allows us to do that. It allows us to have the supplies and ability to swap those out as needed. Mrs. Gupta was one of those that kind of was doing house calls. She would have a system with the students, you put it in the mailbox, I'll collect it and drop it off, so it was seamless, but that Chromebook insurance really helps to facilitate that. Most of you, again, have done this as well. The Google form that went out asking you to select either e-learning, which is 100% online, or in person. If you have not done that, or if you're still hesitant, you don't know which one you want, I am asking you to do that by August 14th. A couple of people have emailed or called and said, well, I originally selected e-learning, but I really like the plan you have in place, so I changed my mind and we want to come in person. Can we do that? Absolutely. If something changes and you make that decision to go to e-learning, we can make that change. This number on the 14th is to give me a pretty good idea of what it looks like. Right now, we're at about 88% that have selected in-person learning and about 12% of students that have selected online. It's been staying within that 10 to 12% over the last couple of weeks. Supply list is something else that we're adding, a little bit new. Again, as Mrs. Barcelo said, I am a parent. Aaron is my youngest. Wave to the crowd, Aaron. He's hiding. I told him he could have VIP seats and sit by me, totally lost my train. Oh, supply list. So I know as a parent that, usually what the school will say is, well, let them go to the first couple classes, the teacher will tell you exactly what you want, and then you have like 3 days to go buy all of that. So instead, we're going to release those supply lists to you next week in conjunction with their schedules. So in your packet is kind of a general supply list. what I did is I surveyed the teachers, and I said, tell me what you need to be successful in your classroom that is going to facilitate not sharing of supplies. And that's what's on that list there. It's dry erase markers, it's colored pencils, it's loose leaf paper, it's all of those things. So that was suggested by almost 100% of our teachers. The list that will get released next week is specific by teacher. So it will have the teacher's name, the classes they teach, and what they might require for that class. So when you get your schedule next Wednesday, and we are going to release them electronically this year as opposed to making you come to school to get them. So we'll release those schedules to you Wednesday. You will see who your teachers are. You can then look at that supply list and say, oh, for Ms. Domboski's class, I need this. Oh, for Ms. Urena's class, I need this. So it kind of gives you a couple weeks head start. Teachers are still not going to expect you to necessarily have those the first day, but it will absolutely help you in that process. So Mr. Carone mentioned some improvements. This is what's super exciting for me. We've been watching the LRC and Makerspace area kind of transition a bit by bit. And so I created a couple of videos this morning, and the first one, however, though, is the theater. So if you've ever been to a production in our theater, you know it's a very lovely space, it houses a lot of people, but it needed some updating. So we are in the process of doing a very intense rehabilitation of the theater. It will be ready for the first day of school, and it is beautiful. So keep in mind, I'm going to have Ms. McPrill start this video. There are no seats just yet. However, they are starting to be placed tomorrow. You can see all the walls have been painted black, the ceiling's been painted black. It's new lighting, it's a new sound system. It's going to look like a completely different space. The second one, Mr. McCrill? This one was at 8 o'clock this morning. So this is our LRC space. And this was when I came into school this morning. So what's been done so far is all of those new bookshelves, the circulation desk, the flooring, it's been painted recently, and that's what it looked like this morning. Next slide, Ms. McCrill. Then, and this probably isn't super clear to you, but at 8 a.m. when that LRC was empty, by 11 o'clock today, all of the furniture was installed. And so I took a couple of pictures of that area. So this is just, I need a new technology person. This is good enough. The top right is a casual kind of seating area. We have many of these tables, and what you can't tell from that picture is those tables are S-shaped and they come apart. And you can configure them in a couple of different arrangements. All of the chairs are on casters. We were looking to make this space as multifunctional as possible. So it's all very mobile furniture, and then another nice little seating area. The greatest thing about this is we did all of this, we've been doing all of this planning for about a year, never having heard of COVID, but now that we do, all of those furnishings are superly easily cleaned, and so when they brought them today, they told us exactly how we're going to treat those after usage, and they'll be super easy to take care of. The makerspace, which I did not get a picture of because we don't have it configured perfectly just yet, is well on its way to completion, and again, a multifunctional space that's going to allow the students to do a lot of hands-on activities and experiments and projects. And then a portion of that is the College Career and Resource Center, where we will house our school counselor a couple of times a week to basically, while it seems like 4 years is a long time away, probably 3 years when your child starts to navigate that college process, we're putting a specific location with a lot of resources and an area for them to, start to investigate a college that best fits their needs. So I did pretty good too. I was slotted 20 minutes and I did a little bit less. So we'll get you out of here on time for sure. At this point, I'm going to introduce our Dean of Academics, Mrs. Kelly Winters. Do you want to?
Hello everyone, thanks for coming. I am Kelly Wooders, the Dean of Academics. I met some of you earlier this morning. I also oversee the intervention department as well. So academic expectations, in the course selection book that you should have received when you were registering, there are all the expectations of what you need to graduate. Now, our counseling department, myself, our records secretary checks it and double checks it. So these are things that we will get you the courses that you need, and they're all in this book. So you can have the requirements and know what you need to do within the next 4 years. This year, we're very excited. We're going to switch to block scheduling for a couple of reasons, to minimize transition and to be able to focus more on the academic content and become more engaged in the lessons. We did, I think we have a slide of these schedules next. So, yes. So here, the way you'll see it is there are green and gold days, and basically students will have 2 periods in the morning. They will have mentor group, or kind of like a homeroom time. It's in conjunction with our house system, as well as lunch in the middle of the day, and then 2 classes after that. The blocks will go every other day, and on Wednesday, they will run a full schedule, on a typical Wednesday, a full schedule of their classes 1 through 8, with then some time in the afternoon to do house activities or any other campus activities that we need to do. So we're really excited about this. Our teachers actually, kind of in the planning of the e-learning and the return to school plan, they said, what about block scheduling? And so we really kind of took that and ran with it, and we got a lot of support about that. So this is something that we're very excited about, but it is new this year. So you can go ahead and go back. Thank you. Summer assignments. So you should have received the summer assignments. This year there are only summer assignments primarily for English, reading a book, and there will be an assignment when you get into school, probably that first week of school, maybe the second week, that the students will be complete, just to be able to assess reading and writing, reading comprehension and writing skills. So please make sure that you are reading those books. There are many different places that you can get the books, but if you're having trouble, please contact me or Mrs. Gore, and we will make sure that you are aware of those assignments. They are on the website as well. Schedules, like Mrs. Gore said, they will be a digital pickup this year. We will release them through the portal, which the online portal is where you will also get the progress reports and the report cards. And you can check your child's progress in the classes as well and see their grades up to date. So that's one thing that you're going to make sure that you definitely check on the 5th to see what the child's schedule is. If there's any problems with that, we will have our technology help you, and we'll get that to you. We also will have paper copies for the kids on the first day of school.
We can have the paper schedule on the orientation day with the Chromebook.
Oh, great, okay. We'll have the paper schedules on the orientation days with the Chromebooks, so. Tutoring and our student support. I just finished my first full year at STVM, and I cannot tell you all the places I've worked. I cannot believe how much support is in the building for the students. We have multiple tutors for all different academic areas. This year, what we're doing is a little different. We used to have a tutoring center, and the students would go to the tutors when they needed help. This year, what we're doing is we're bringing those tutors up into the study hall where the students are. That way, they will be able to check on the students and also be able to help them. If there's a group of them that need kind of a tutoring session together, they would be able to do that. They're very in tune with kind of what's going on in each of the classes. So that way they would be able to say, hey, don't you have a test coming up or something like that. So that's going to be new this year. And we also have a dedicated tutoring, dedicated study hall, guided study hall for anybody that might be on academic probation or anything like that. Being on academic probation is not a big deal. It's just us trying to help you get off of that. So if your grades are slipping a little bit, we're going to say, hey, we may need to put you in the study hall where it is very focused, and you kind of have that extra guided support every day. That is staffed by 2 tutors every single day. Any other student support, if you do see that your child is struggling and maybe some of the supports that are in place are not necessarily working and you need to talk about some things, that's also then the intervention that I would be a part of, as well as our intervention specialist. So we do have a pretty healthy intervention department with multiple levels of support for the students. Academic probation, I kind of touched on that a little bit. If you are coming in on academic probation, that is for a full year. And the only reason we do that is because freshman year is sometimes, there's a learning curve there. So we want to make sure that you're successful your whole freshman year. Any other time, if you would be on that, you could come off at the semester or at the quarter. We also will double check for athletics. Every quarter we double check, and actually every 9 or every 4 weeks we check to see the eligibility. So we do have a dedicated counselor as well for academic probation and eligibility. The online portal I talked about. Parent-teacher conferences, October 22nd is the scheduled date. Hopefully we can do them in person, but if not, we will come up with some kind of a virtual plan of a schedule where teachers would probably call in or do a Google Meet or something like that as you sign up. So there will be more coming on that. Right now it is scheduled for October 22nd in person, and we will see how that goes. So, all right, thank you. Oh, I'm doing the counseling one. Okay, our counseling department is staffed with 3 full-time school counselors and 2 part-time college counselors that your students will get to know very, very well. Ms. Hovey is going to be the counselor for the freshman class of 2024. So this is her. She is not here tonight. But there's a school-based therapist from Child Guidance and Family Solutions as well if your child should need that support. They assist students with academic, personal, social, college, career needs, pretty much anything that you need. The counselor is going to get to know your students very, very well. We do have a couple events, the college fair and the career fair. They coordinate many things. Counselors will go into classes and do certain lessons with each grade level. And they really focus on a lot of that in freshman year, but that college and career fair is something that is pretty hefty, or both of them are very well attended, a lot of people there, and we're going to see how we're going to do that this year. So stay tuned on that. Navions is what the counselors will help with as far as junior year, is really when they're getting signed on and all that kind of stuff, but that is definitely something the counselors help with in kind of that college application process. They're collaborative with students, parents, and teachers, and again, this is Ms. Hovey here, so if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to her regarding some of the first days of school things too as well. All right, thank you. And this is Mr. Tom McCrill, our Dean of Students.
Good evening, everybody. I am also not a very standstill person, so I'm going to walk around. But really quick, everyone stand up. Just look around, move around. I was stale, so I just wanted to move everybody around a little bit. You guys can sit now. Just so we get a little movement in the room. This is a long informational night. We tell you guys a lot of things. Before I jump into everything we're going to talk about, first of all, I'm going to go over this house system. How many people have heard Mrs. Witter say something about house system and have no idea what we're talking about? Perfect. I'm going to tell you everything about it. If you know something about it, you're probably going to learn a little bit more. It's been a 3-year research, findings, working with our current students, and it's changing the student experience. So parents, I hate to say this, but you're not going to really feel all of it. Students, you're going to feel all of it, 100%, especially you. You're going to be the first class to walk into our building to get all 4 years. Everyone else that's here right now, that's a sophomore, a junior, and a senior, kind of stinks for them because they've done a lot of legwork, and you're going to reap all the reward to it, okay? So we're going to get into that. Well, I'm going to talk about also what lunches are going to look like this year. A lot different. Your student handbook, it's going to look a lot different because it's not ready yet because of COVID, okay? I usually have that done in March, and then you know what happened on March 12th? We never went back to work. Your student planner is just literally going to be your student planner this year, but you're going to see that a little bit as well. And then student uniforms, dress code, the really fun stuff that you and I get to do together. And we're going to talk about attendance, because you need to be at school. Depending on how you choose to be at school this year, whether you're an e-learner or you're going to be in person with us, because I will be there every day, you still need to be in school. All right, so if you're an e-learner, you're still going to log on at 8 o'clock. You're still going to be taken with attendance. So before I bore you again, this sheet has a lot of really great information. Thanks to Mrs. Gore being a parent. She was sitting looking through it, and she said, what I want to reference you guys to is just take a look down here, bottom right corner. It says how to report your student off sick. This is really important because we always forget how to do this. In my opinion, I would honestly cut this out and put it on the fridge. All right, we ask that you report them sick before 9 a.m. Right now, there is a new law. I'm sure your students heard about it in the last year and a half at your school, the Eliana de Freeze law, that you have to, and we have to report to each family by 10 a.m. whether a student did not come to school. If we don't, we are legally obligated for that student's life. So we ask you, please help us. Your thought to bringing your students to the school is that we're going to keep them safe. But we also need to make sure that we know that they're there or not there. I'm going to get into another feature that we just brought into a new safety and security concept on our campus to help you know, is your student actually here? So you're going to actually get text messages to know if your kid's in the building or not. Okay? Sorry, kids. All right, here we go.
Making new friends.
Exploring new ideas.
Creating lasting memories.
This is high school.
It's also a time to prepare for college and life in today's ever-changing world.
For years, traditional high schools did this through a model of education that mechanically moves a student through each grade level.
At St. Vincent St. Mary High School, we believe there's a better way. A new system that nurtures and educates the student through a faith-filled family environment.
This exciting philosophy changes everything. It allows each student the chance to reach his or her full potential. Introducing the STVM house system.
The house system is simple. First, it divides the student body into 4 groups, or houses, each led by a faculty member, or house dean.
Each house contains students from every grade, so freshmen immediately interact with, make friends with, and gain experience from sophomores, juniors, and seniors.
Next, each house is divided into smaller mentor groups led by a faculty member. These groups meet daily over the course of a student's full 4 years, creating an environment that helps build a strong community and lasting relationships.
The student-faculty relationship is an important part of the house system. Students interact daily with a mentor who models the soft skills needed for success, while also providing a level of support not found in the old-fashioned high school model.
Best of all, the house system is fun. The houses compete in the categories of academics, service, athletics, and leadership in a quest for the annual STVM House Cup.
The STVM house system, just one of the many initiatives that allows St. Vincent St. Mary High School to bring out the best in each and every student. Welcome to the STVM family.
So that's the house system. In about 2 minutes and 17 seconds, I think it is. It is probably the most exciting thing Mrs. Gore and I have been looking forward to for the last 3 years since we've worked here. I've been telling people, I've been looking forward to August of 2020 for 3 years because I knew not only you all were coming into this room, but because I knew this was coming. And so for 2 years, we hid this from the students because we were researching to make sure that this was the right experience for St. Vincent St. Mary. Not only did we become Marianists, which is now the religious order that we affiliated with, but the reason why we brought the house system in is because as a Marianist community, it's all about relationships, and it's all about setting students up for success. And as you walk in as freshmen or transfer students, who do you know when you walk in? Well, probably some of the same kids that you knew last year, or nobody. So we initially automatically are going to put you into a house. Your house is going to have 4 people. So you're going to walk in on Wednesday, the 26th, right? Is that right? Yeah. And you're gonna be together, just yourselves, because we wanna make sure the first day of school for you, you're prepared for it and you're comfortable. But then on Thursday, August 27th, you're gonna go through school for the first 2 periods. You're gonna eat lunch in your second period class, whatever that might be, so it's either gonna be second or third. Third, thank you. And on that Thursday, you're gonna be, at the end of the school day, we're gonna have a special event. Social distance, masks, everything. But right now, your seniors were on campus yesterday planning our house sorting day. So freshmen transfers, you're gonna have to fill out a survey when we finish our last period of that day. And that survey is gonna ask you your favorite color, it's gonna ask you your height, it's gonna ask you your favorite show, maybe your favorite movie, what day your birthday is. And then all of a sudden, you're gonna be told to go to this location on campus, and then you're gonna find out what house you're in. And then on Friday, the 28th, you're gonna do the same thing. All right, you already know what you identify as a house. You won't be in my house, I promise. So that's a good thing for you, because I'm not part of a house. But I will support every single house, and then from there, you're gonna find out to do the same exact thing. Your house is then gonna meet, and then you're gonna find out what mentor group you're in. Your mentor group is gonna be what we would consider a homeroom, but it's gonna have freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors in it. So parents, why are we doing this? We're adopting a family model. A senior is going to adopt a junior in that mentor group. That junior is going to adopt a sophomore. That sophomore is going to adopt a freshman. Because as you've heard from the time you started through admissions, we're a family. So why aren't we modeling the family every day? Your students are going to be in mentor group with their family every single day. Now I will tell you this, we're going to have special events to honor our really good achieving students, whether it's academic or athletic or extracurricular. So some days we might take mentor group to go celebrate the whole community. But we are pushing that our students are telling us we need to be together. Not with the administration, not always with all the teachers. They need to be together to mentor each other, okay? So that's the house system. Really exciting stuff. From there, your lunches are going to be with your mentor group this year. We cannot have lunches in the student center, all right? So you won't see myself and Mr. Murphy and Mrs. Spinner walking through and Mr. Corbett, who's our house director, hanging out with you and talking. But you will see us in your mentor groups because we're going to walk in and make sure the trash is thrown away. All right? So we're still going to do the same things, but we're now going to have to walk through, 28 different classrooms. So we apologize for that, but we're hoping that we eventually get out of this model, okay? Because we want you to be in a community room, not just your mentor group, okay? But those lunches are going to be split between an actual eating lunch and then also a mentor group. So mentor group might be team building activities, all right? It might be checking in with your teacher and making sure, like, hey, Tom, you didn't do your social studies. Come up to my desk. I see you're missing a social studies assignment. I see you're missing a quiz in math. Can we go talk to the teacher? Let's shoot an email really quick. Okay, so this is also where that mentor, our teacher, our faculty members, are going to make sure that we're setting up success. We're setting up test strategies. We're setting up study skills. And we're setting up those soft skills you heard about in that movie to make sure that the students understand how to have a conversation with an adult. Because I'm only 31 and I'll tell the kids this every day. I am closer to age with most of them than I am with most of our teachers or parents. But one day I won't be. So when that happens, it's time for me to kind of take on a different role because it's time for me to try to mentor them, to know how to have the crucial conversations with an adult. Because when they go to college, who's going to do it for them? Okay, so that's what we're trying and we're continuing to invest in for our students. I would ask that you guys, if you have any questions, go right to our website at www.stvm.com/house system. This is what the actual. We're really good with technology. We're more social beings, like you guys can't tell. We didn't work very well virtually as a team. I'll be honest with you. We went to the building a lot. That's just what the webpage looks like. www.stvm.com/house system. It has so much information on it. Our students just presented us, and our faculty deans just presented us with our new crests. They've been working on them all summer during COVID shutdown. They even took our crests that you're going to see right here, and they are actually adopting, what do all these symbols mean? I'll be honest with you, I unfortunately right now don't know, but our deans do. And they are putting these on our website. So all of these houses, these are the names of your houses, guys. This is what your houses are named. Ash, hawthorn, holly, and oak. They're all Irish houses, or Irish trees, excuse me. And our students decided that they wanted an Irish identity to our house system. So we voted as an entire community, and it came up between Irish, Akron, something. It was Akron somethings, I apologize, it's been so long since we did this. And then Irish trees, and I was like, there's no way trees are gonna win. And trees won. all right? Because it's that identity that we have, that we are Irish. And then we picked the tree names, and ash, hawthorn, holly, and oak. And then our crests were made with our students as well. And then they identified not only by a name, not only by a crest, but then we also went by colors. So yes, we're green and gold. That is going to be our universal colors. But you're going to start seeing in the building, you're going to get lanyards on day one. And if you're well, I shouldn't say day one. When you sort into your house, you're going to start getting lanyards because we wear IDs and lanyards every day. And you're going to see your lanyard is going to identify with your house. So when you're walking down the hallway, I'm going to know who belongs to which house because there's point systems. So not only is attendance on the point system, so the house that has the best attendance in the school day, in the classroom setting, the best discipline records. We see the identities, and then also there's a student walking down the hallway from Hawthorne, and a senior sees that student walking down and sees them doing the wrong thing. We're hoping that Hawthorne student's going to step in and say, hey, knock that off. Instead of an administrator walking in, instead of a teacher walking in, and it's self-regulation versus top-down. Because we know that works with our personal lives and work. It's never always great, you know, so we want to create that positive atmosphere for our students, that positive atmosphere so we can all learn and achieve the best. From here, here's your student planner. That's actually what it looks like. My left, your right. You're going to receive these in mentor group. Again, I apologize. I'd really like to have all of our students, especially new students, have the rule book in their hands, but it's just not possible with COVID. I'm still working on our entire student handbook right now. And it's ever changing. It literally is ever changing. We'll review this in mentor group. Your teachers and your students are going to, I created what I think is a really fun activity for you to review the handbook. You may not like it, but at the end of the entire review, we then do a Kahoot. And this is going to be our first team point house system activity. The entire school at the same time is going to have, each mentor group is going to have one Kahoot account, and the whole school is going to have a Kahoot about our student handbook. How cool, right? I can tell the moms and dads are laughing. So, what I would ask you guys to do, though, parents, please, the part that pains me the most in my office when it's October or November or March is when a kid is sent to my office and I say, why did you do this? Well, I didn't know that was against the rules. And I said, well, have you ever read the handbook? Well, no. And that's the hardest thing, because I can't say anything else. Well, that's not a thing I can do. So, students, you never want to be in my office unless it's to say hi. But if you are, it's okay. Because we all make mistakes, right? I made plenty of mistakes this morning, I'll be honest. So, when we make mistakes, though, we gotta learn by them. So I'm gonna sit down, we're gonna talk about it, we're gonna go over the rule, we're gonna ask what happened last night, we're gonna ask what happened this morning, because typically it's not because that teacher made you upset, it was usually what happened last night. It's usually you didn't get enough sleep, or basketball practice ran long, or volleyball practice went long, or you got in a fight with your best friend, or mom in the morning. It's okay. But what I'd ask you to do is make sure you know what we expect out of you. What we expect is the best standards and high expectations. I'm not gonna lie. So we don't cut corners at St. B. There's a lot of parents that I recognize in the room, even though they have masks on right now. You know how we work. And this is the first year in the time I've been here that every student in this building is only gonna know me as a dean. And so they're gonna tell you, yes, you have to have your shirt tucked in. I'm sorry, but you have to have your shirt tucked in. Parents typically thank me for that, but students, I'm gonna be honest with you, this is your job for the next 4 years, is to be a student. You don't get paid for it, but one day you are gonna get paid for it. And your boss is going to acknowledge the fact that you know what it is to be the next level kid. It is going to be, at one point or another, that next level adult. So my dad taught me this line a long, long time ago. You dress for the job you want, not the job you have. So right now you're a student, you want to be untucked. But I need to train you to make sure that you're going to be the best employee one day. And not only make yourself proud, but you're also going to carry that same B name. Okay? So that's my kind of area. Dress code highlights. I don't go through the dress code highlights because honestly, it's a polo and a pair of pants, tucked in with a belt, with a pair of shoes, and I think we all know what that looks like, right? So I'm not going to go through it. All right. Tommy Hilfiger is one of our dress code areas. We also partner with, oh my goodness, Jim Hillary has Proforma, excuse me, I always forget the name. But Tommy Hilfiger, I always show this just because they weren't able to be here tonight. If you go on our website, you can see it, and then the far side is actually the Tommy Hilfiger platform. Jim Hillary is also here that he'll answer questions afterwards. We partner with both, okay? You can wear whatever, all right? Whatever between these two, not anything else. I'd ask that you don't go to Kohl's and make your own St. D logo.
That's awesome.
But let's be honest, some days we just don't have uniforms. Some days we just don't have access to a clean uniform. Just come talk to us, all right? Mr. Murphy and myself, Mr. Murphy's our assistant dean of students, you can't miss him. He played in the NFL for 11 years, he played on the Packers, he's about 4 times the size of me. I'm younger than all his kids, but he's my right-hand man, and I'm his. So whenever anything goes wrong, just come talk to us. If you don't feel comfortable talking to me, go tell your teacher. Your teacher's gonna have a direct line to me. Parents, if you know something's going on, email me in the morning. I can track them down without anyone knowing, okay? So these are just 3 pictures. The far left, that's a regular uniform. You know it's like, what pants look like. I just want to show you, this is what a typical student should look like. Look, they even have their IDs on. Shocking. IDs are part of our dress code now. It's a security piece, okay? And now that we got masks, I have no idea who any of you guys are, and I hate that. We hate that. I need to be able to somehow look to identify who you are, because I want to call you by name, not by gender, okay? I don't want to say, hey kid, hey boy, hey girl. That's just not polite. I want to call you by first name, all right? So that's where, and on the far side, just a goofy picture of me and that was Matt and Ross, thank you. This is just a spirit dress down day. So spirit dress down days we do have periodically. It's just, we're saying be here. So I believe in pride, school pride, all right? I don't believe in retail pride, I guess I would say. All right, so parents, I will tell you this, we will never have a retail pride day. So we will not wear Adidas shirts. We won't wear Aeropostale shirts. We won't wear Tommy Hilfiger regular shirts. We will wear uniform. But we will wear school pride when it's a dress down day because we're Irish. All right, now that might be house pride though too. So you might be able to wear the house shirts as long as it's the same t-shirt. But you can see that that's there. Attendance, we've already gone through this, but one thing I really want to cover right now is this is our new visitor management system, which is also an attendance feature. So let's say your son has to leave at 9 o'clock, or daughter, for an orthodontist appointment. Okay, I had one this morning too. I had braces last year. That was really fun being a high school administrator, having braces. So they leave. You've written a note. Your son or daughter brings it to Mrs. Shoup in the morning, and then all of a sudden they have to come back. Well, your son or daughter is no longer going to have to bring a handwritten note every single time. I mean, they should, but they don't have to bring that to get back in the building. They're going to go up to one of our little kiosks, because we're now technologically advanced, even though I'm not, and they're going to just click on the student portal, and they're going to check themselves back in. And it's literally going to text you as long as you set up the portal correctly, and it's going to tell you when they get back to the office. Okay. The same thing can happen. We're working through this right now. We're considering letting this happen immediately when they've been taken for attendance that day. You can opt out of that stuff, because that I think could be annoying. Every single day if you find out at 8:01 your son or daughter is in English class, we get it, right? But if your son or daughter is not supposed to be in the building, but you're expecting them to arrival because maybe grandma's bringing them or their friend's bringing them, that's important. I don't have kids, but I have a niece and nephew. That stuff's important to me too. So we want to make sure that you know that they're safe all the time. Visitor management system as well. I will tell you this right now. Unfortunately, we are not allowing any visitors technically into the building unless they're cleared by the administration. So it's a different year. It's gonna be a fun year though. I hope you guys can tell I have high energy. All right, so I don't like boring days. I like to be in school. I hope you guys had fun tonight. If you guys have any questions at the end of this, let me know. And welcome to the family.
I've had that mask on for so long, I was like, whoa. I'm Christine Spinner, I'm the campus minister. I'm going to try and keep this quick, because I know you guys are, it's getting kind of warm in here as well. But one thing I want to say to you right off the bat is welcome to the family. You're going to hear that, you're going to hear us say it all the time, because it really is the truth. When our students voted and decided in the house system to have trees, the Irish trees as our house names, that we were so excited about it because, you know, you think about it, the family tree, I mean, everything fits, everything fits to us, with us. And I'm gonna be working very closely with the house system as well. A number of the student leaders, 2 in each house, are chaplains, and so they kind of report to me and I work with them. So I'm super excited about being in the mentor groups and working with the houses. I'm also not in a house, I'm homeless. So, so let me tell you quickly about the merriness. I think, are in year four of our Marianist sponsorship. And the mission of the Marianists is really Mary's mission, which is to bring Christ to our world. And we live that every day at St. Vincent St. Mary. And it's very important to us. Some of the characteristics and the charisms of the Marianists I have up here: family, hospitality, making people feel welcome, outreach, going out to the community to help. And we do all of those things. One of the other characteristics is education that is adaptable, and also, making those changes that we need. And of all years, this is it. This is it, 2020. We're going to have to make a lot of changes. And there are going to be some changes that come along with campus ministry. I used to keep candy in my office. I'm not going to be able to have candy in my office anymore. So I still want you to come visit me. You want to come to my office. Maybe not his office, but I'm actually right across the hall from him. So come visit me. People come see me all the time. So all day long, we have our Christian faith, our Catholic faith going. And, we're going to start with daily prayer. We start that in the morning. During your first period, one of the Marianist Life Core team members will do the pledge and say a prayer. At the end of the day, I come on and do the 3 o'clock prayer. Something that was kind of exciting during COVID. I don't know if it was exciting, but I went live on our student council Instagram and did kind of a little show, a 3 o'clock prayer show, and I interviewed different students and adults, and we did the prayer together. So it was kind of fun to do. You obviously will have theology classes. Those of you who went to a Catholic grade school know you have that. And we have something called Marianist Life. Life means living in faith experience. Those activities will take place in the houses, maybe in mentor group, during the school day, sometimes after the school day. So these are all ways that we are building community. And that's what we're all about, is building a Christian community. That's going to start for you on day 1, on your very first day. I'm going to tell you real quickly about the big sieves. You each have been assigned big sieves. We worked kind of hard at that, pairing you together. Your big sieves have your contact information. They probably are looking you up on social media as we speak. I'm sure they are. So they will be contacting you, or should be contacting you. If they don't, no, they should. And otherwise, you will meet them on the first day. They will be there. They're all juniors and seniors, and they volunteered to do this. They wanted to do this, and so many kids had such a great experience with their big sib that they want to give back, and that's really a great experience for us. Continuing with that family, brothers and sisters. We do a number of retreats. Retreats are going to maybe look a little different this year. That adaptability. We're going to make some changes. We're going to do whatever we can do. We will probably be doing some of that in the house because we can separate you easier in that way. We have liturgical celebrations. We have Mass often. This year we're going to be a little creative. Some Mass is going to be broadcast. It's going to be me and a priest in the chapel, and we're going to be, you'll see it in A class. But we're going to try our best. We may sometimes have just a whole house in the LeBron James Arena where we do Mass, or maybe across the street at St. Vincent. Sometimes we use that as well. We're excited this year. We have a seminarian intern that is assigned to St. Vincent's. His name is Dominic, and Dominic is going to be joining us on many occasions. So there's like a younger guy with me. This is who he is. His name is Dominic, and I'll introduce you to him. I haven't met him yet, but we've talked. We have service projects that we do. Sometimes your service projects will be done during the school day. Sometimes they'll be outside of the school day. We have a very large one that we do adopt a family. Last year we provided 18 families with Christmas, and it was crazy. And the second to last day before Christmas, we had all the gifts out and it was really an amazing time. So we do definitely do that, and the kids are really into it, and it gets really competitive. I cannot imagine what it's going to be like when it's a house activity, which is what it's going to move to, and very, very competitive. Who bought the most? Who bought the best? Who bought this? This toy is cool. So really, really a good time. Christian service hours. So you are required to do 25 service hours every year for a total of 100 by the time you graduate. We had someone this year who received the very first Marianist Service Award. He had 568 hours that he did. He was not alone. I had a number of people that were in the 400 range. So that meant they did more than 100 a year, so that's really incredible. Doing service is a little different now. Some of the nonprofit agencies are allowing you to come in, some are not. Sometimes you're not comfortable, you know, having your parents might not be comfortable with you going into public. So it's kind of changing a little. We adapted it last year and allowed some service hours that were family service, serving your own family, which I'm sure many of you did while you were trapped in the house with your parents. You did. You loaded the dishwasher, you helped your siblings. So we did allow that to count towards the 25. And we also added spiritual growth this year as well. We probably will continue with that again. And spiritual growth was, you know, listening to a podcast, dedicating some prayer time, writing in a journal, all kinds of things that you could do like that. So that was, that's part of the service hours. Naviance was mentioned earlier. Naviance is a program that is used for college stuff, but it also has a little part that we use for the service hours. I will be coming into your mentor groups to work with you on how to get logged into that. You cannot get logged into that yet. Many of you, there's about 5 actually. I've received 5 emails over the summer that were like, how do I get on? I read this is online. And I was like, wow, this is like a great class. You guys are on the job. So you cannot get on yet. You are not registered yet. So you will be. I'm not permitted to register you until late September. So you'll get in. What I would say is if you did any service hours, starting June 1st, this year, 2020, June 1st on, it counts. So here's the information you need. You need to know where you did your service hours. Please don't tell me it's at, you know, I don't know, that church down in West Market. Okay, well, yeah. So sometimes I go to this. So know where it is, know your supervisor's name, phone number, and email address. Those 4 things. And that can be found on our website as well. I have like a little how to do this. But if you have those 4 bits of information, you and I can get that logged in without a problem. Okay? So I look forward to meeting all of you. It's strange with your mask on. I hope I don't know what you look like. I'll be looking at your pictures online so that I know what you look like. But please come visit me. I'm in room 319, right across from Mr. McCrill. So look forward to meeting you and getting you involved and being a part of our family. So thanks for being with me. And now, admissions fund.
Thank you, Mrs. Winter. I am going to stand behind the podium. All right, well, I just do have a few items that I would like to address as we wrap things up. In addition to Mrs. Gore's emails that I'm sure that you've been reading through our Constant Contact program, they have that very nice template. If you are not receiving those communications, please check your spam folder because sometimes those messages do make their way to spam. But I did just want to draw your attention. This presentation will be emailed to all of you along with the recording of this evening with live links. I really encourage parents, in addition to obviously reading Mrs. Gore's communications, do check on our website, follow us on our social media accounts. Look at our morning announcements are published each day on our website as well, and then our daily calendar. So those are items I would recommend. Going to those links and bookmarking all of those websites certainly helpful to check out every few days or so. And I have kind of the boring practical things I just want to make sure that I leave you with before the evening is over. For transportation, this is something that unfortunately we don't have a lot of solidified information on yet because it is up to all of the individual public school districts if they are going to provide busing to the private schools. What I would recommend parents, if you are seeking public transportation, I would give it maybe a week or 2 for schools to maybe gather their procedures. But we do have all of the public school district transportation offices' phone numbers on our website. So if you click that link, it will take you to that phone number. I would recommend calling them to ask for the procedures with COVID, and if they are still providing busing to St. Vincent, St. Mary. Again, unfortunately, that is out of our control. The carpool survey, I know I had sent that a few times. Before we send the results, we're getting a few more opportunities for parents to complete that carpool survey. And again, that will just be shared then with the people who fill this survey out. So parents, if you're interested in maybe setting up carpools with other families, That would be your reason for completing this survey, and that way we will share your contact information with other parents from your area so that you guys can then be in communication to arrange any carpools if that is of interest to you. And we will keep that open for another week or two, so please make sure you're completing that if interested. And then also, families who live in the Akron Public School District, so Akron Public does not provide busing to us because it is so close, but if you are a resident of Akron Public Schools, there often are discounted or free passes for the Metro RTA for students, so if that's something that you wish to see, please refer to that phone number and you can call to inquire and get more information about that as well. Another topic that I would like to bring up, we do have a number of students joining us from public and non-Catholic grade schools. So students, if you're not coming from a Catholic grade school, I just want to, I've gotten this question a few times so far this summer. So students coming from public schools, you do not need to worry about getting your child's records for us. Our registrar handles that. But it may be a good idea, I know public schools seem to all do it differently. It may not be a bad idea, parents, to contact the public high school that your child would have gone to and let them know that your child is not joining them next year. Some public schools automatically enroll your child for the next school year, and then parents will get a call on their first day of school asking where their child is. So again, if you're coming from a public or a non-Catholic grade school, that might be something parents you just wish to pursue to make sure they're not expecting their son or daughter come the fall. Also, I wanted to point out our summer office hours because a few families have approached me about forms that they maybe have to return to the school. I just want to let you know, Fridays our building is not open, so there's not anyone unfortunately to let you in on Friday. So families, we are in the building Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. in the summer. And the reason I want to highlight that, a number of families, if you are receiving an Ohio Department of Education scholarship for your child, I know that those acceptance forms have been going out, and those acceptance forms need to ultimately be returned to St. Vincent St. Mary. So that would include if your child is receiving the Ed Choice Scholarship, the John Peterson Scholarship, or the State of Ohio Autism Scholarship. You should be getting that communication within the next few weeks from the ODE. And it's basically you just signing off saying that you accept that scholarship. But it's very important that form does need to come back to St. Vincent St. Mary. You can either hand deliver that, put it in the mail, you can fax it to us, or if you want to email, I put all three of us up there since we're in the phase of transition, but an email address that will go to all three of us is admissions@stvm.com, so you certainly could also email any of those forms to that email address for us to receive that. Our summer bookstore hours. As of right now, our bookstore will definitely be open by the first day of school, so or on the first day of school, Wednesday, August 26th. The hours there are listed Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Tuesday, Thursday, so parents, please keep an eye on that. And we certainly will let you know if there are any additional hours added for the summer. We're hoping that maybe we can get some hours, maybe when your children are already coming in for their orientation day, so we certainly will let you know of that. From the bookstore, the reason that you'll want to go to the bookstore for your incoming freshmen, if you do want to buy any spiritware, but more importantly, incoming freshmen and transfer students, you are responsible for purchasing your theology workbook, a workbook for your world language, if applicable, so Spanish and French definitely have workbooks associated with those classes. A lock for your locker, those are items that you would get from our bookstore, so you don't need those prior to the first day of school. So don't worry about having them before the first day of school, but when your child is actually at our building, they can come into the bookstore during their, well, I'm sure we'll probably have certain guidelines to follow, so I'm not going to say when they'll be coming, but we will let them know when they can come to the bookstore and purchase those items. Oh, wonderful. Okay, wonderful. So we're going to try to handle that for you and give it to your children during their mentor group block. Wonderful. And then parents, just so you're aware, in our bookstore, you can, for those items, I would expect about $90 total for those items, between books and those materials. And students, you can either, if you feel comfortable sending them with cash, check, or credit card, you can send the payment with your child, or you can even pay on the phone with credit card, or load money onto your child's lunch and bookstore account. So that account is all one and the same money that can be used to purchase lunches, and then also for the bookstore as well. And if you would please pull out the summer to-do list, I believe it's on the pastel yellow in your envelope. I'll just refer you to that. I just wanted to bring up a few items on this. So this kind of just summarizes what you heard in, this evening in the discussion, dates of when you should be handling certain items by. So please just make sure that you do read this thoroughly once you're home. But on there, just a few things I want to point out. It does include your child's English class so that you can make sure that they are completing the correct assignment. Many of you got an email about that as well earlier this summer, but it will say the class that your student is scheduled for so that you can make sure you are completing that correct assignment. And then also, students, your 8-digit student ID is included on this paper. It should be highlighted. That is unique to each student. You will need this 8-digit number to create your lunch/bookstore account. You will use that number. And then also when you go to purchase your Chromebook insurance, it will ask you, freshmen and transfer students will use their ID instead of the serial number since you don't have your Chromebooks in hand yet. So please just keep this handy because you will need that 8-digit number to create those accounts. Yes, I'm not going to go over all of that with you. You can read that again when you go home. Many of that was already discussed. It's just kind of as a conclusive description of what needs to be handled here. And then one other item I wanted to discuss, unfortunately I did include this in a previous email, but our freshman mass and breakfast, we are so sorry, we are going to need to cancel that. There's just really no feasible way to do that right now with social distancing. So just keep that in mind. It was originally scheduled for Sunday, August 9th, so that is no longer going to be happening at this point. I also then just wanted to go one slide further. This has been shared with you before, but I just want to encourage, I know especially with our social distancing, it is going to be more difficult maybe to make connections that we typically would be able to make, and now with your children moving on to high school, it's not always as easy for you to get involved as maybe at the grade school level. So I just want to bring up a few organizations that we do have that I encourage you to look at if you're interested, parents, just some ways to get involved. As of right now, we aren't having volunteers in the building, but there certainly will eventually be the need for volunteers. So parents, if you're ever interested in volunteering at our school, that usually entails maybe stuffing envelopes for us, doing some paperwork for our department or other departments in our school. That's a great opportunity to meet other parents. Parents Club, we always encourage you to join our Parents Club. They meet once a month, and there's just a lot of fun activities and a great way to meet parents across all grade levels. Alumni Association parents, I believe we have about, I want to say 73 incoming freshmen who have alumni parents, which is amazing. So all of our alumni parents, please make sure you join our Alumni Association. And then Booster Club, if you're interested in supporting our athletic departments, that's a wonderful opportunity as well. So that's a great way for parents to get involved in any of these organizations. And then I also just wanted to bring up one other thing, and I'm sure you kind of figured it out on your own, but you do have a letter in your envelope as well that does tell you who your big SIB is. So at the bottom of your sheet, it will tell you the name of your big SIB, so you know who that person is. At this time, we would like to open it up for questions for the general group. Any lingering questions that you may have at this time? And in this presentation, everybody's email address is included, so please feel free to reach out through email. Yes?
So the days of August 11th and 13th, she's gonna be out of town. So how will we go about the Chromebooks?
We'll just make different arrangements, so just email me and I'll.
Okay.
Other questions? Yes?
The students who will be doing e-learning, will they still be able to participate in the house system?
Yes. Does someone want to speak on that?
That's a great question. We are in the process right now of creating a plan of whether or not we're gonna have all of our students of each house be in that e-learning mentor group. So that way they don't feel as if they're missing out on the active activity, but they might be doing an e-learning activity, so that way they're all in the same environment. But at certain times, yes, they will be fully engaged, they will be in a house, they will identify. We're still, again, being adaptable and flexible, we're trying to figure out if we are gonna put them in which mentor group, live or e-learning one, okay?
Yes.
Those that signed up for the e-learning, the first day of 26, are they gonna try to log in, or would it be all right to show up if they were able to, just because it's a freshman only day, or? Who else got that?
I would say if you're comfortable showing up that day with just freshmen, you're absolutely more than welcome to. If you are not, we will send a communication. They probably won't be online all day. We will have different things that they will log on throughout the day to give them the information they need.
Yes, I haven't received any information from y'all on email or anything about their homework assignments or nothing.
I will look into that, Mr. Young. Sorry, yes.
A student's, email password to log into their account?
Yes, so, some families have asked about, how to log into your student's email account. I will get back to you on that. We technically, prefer to do that with students on their orientation days. I know that some groups over the summer have needed those, like the students participating in the honors math class, have needed to access those accounts for certain reasons. There has not been a mass communication. I know some parents have thought they missed an email. We have purposely not sent a mass communication about how to log into email because we want to do that with students. For now, hang tight for those orientation days. You did not miss anything about that. Did you have another question?
You say check your spam, because I haven't received any of the emails that you all have.
And what's your last name, please? Sorry.
Marshall.
Thank you. I will get back to you on that. Yes, Ms. Gavin.
When will the online portal for parents be live again?
Wednesday, we wait for that until schedules go out. So once schedules go live on Wednesday, it will come live again.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions?
Attendance work, like based on COVID exposure, if you're required to be out, do those off days count against you? Like, I know it can be changed, you can't say it all now, but, you know, if somebody has an exposure over you, do you have 10 days off against you? And you have to call off every day, like, against.
So it's gonna be set up so that, the question was, in case you didn't hear, what if your child has to stay home because they've been exposed to COVID? We're going to make that process super easy so that even if they are an in-person student, they can transition to be an online student. If they are physically unable to participate in online learning, they will handle that exactly as they would a traditional sick day. They'll let Mrs. Shoup know so that the teachers know that they're absent that day. That's what we did in the spring when we switched to online learning. If a student was feeling unwell and couldn't participate, they would email Mrs. Shoup, she would get it out to teacher, so we knew that they were absent that day. So we'll handle it much the same way. But if they have been exposed and they have to quarantine, they would just transition, and then once they've been cleared, they're free to come back if they chose in person.
Very good. Any other questions? Well, again, we thank you so much for joining us this evening. Families, we are so excited to finally go on this journey with you. I will miss you all dearly, and I'm sorry that I won't be here to see your children through, but again, thank you so much for being here. If there are any questions, please feel free to reach out to anyone who is here this evening via email. And as much as we would love for you to all mingle, we do kindly ask that you make your way out to observe social distancing. But if you would like to speak with Mr. Hillary of Pro Forma,